Our speaker today is a Magna Cum Laude graduate of Bachelor of Arts in Development Studies, minor in Economic Studies. He has been awarded Gawad Lasalyano's Most Outstanding Undergraduate Student Leader and Outstanding Student in Community Development. An epitome of the Lasallian Core Values, he best describes himself as a servant leader, highlighting that he is a servant first for God and the country. He has frequently represented the Philippines and DLSU in high-level meetings in government and intergovernmental organizations, notably the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, and the United Nations. His proactive community involvement in working with organizations such as WWF Philippines and the ASEAN Youth Advocates Network has been acclaimed globally, awarding him multiple recognitions: a Global Teen Leader, Young Global Changemakers Award, and 25 Under 25 Global Legacy Award by organizations in the United States and the United Kingdom. In the Philippines, he has been awarded the Outstanding Jose Rizal Model Student of the Philippines by the Knights of Rizal, the CSR Youth Award by the BCYF Foundation and Deloitte Philippines, and the National Youth Commission Datu Kamlung Banwe Service Award. An alumnus of the ASEAN Korea Summit, HP Air Harvard University Conference, AmCham Business Leadership Program, Ayala Young Leaders Congress, and the Ramon Magsaysay Foundation Next Gen Leadership Program, his experiences are selflessly shared as a resource speaker for more than 500 events, and he has been featured in ABS-CBN, CNN, GMA, Manila Times, and the New York Times. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our graduate response speaker from the College of Liberal Arts, Emmanuel Mirus Ponon.
Thank you, Dr. Christine Balyada, for the amiable introduction. Thank you also to the University Honors and Awards Council for giving me the privilege to deliver the graduate response on this momentous day. Our University President, Brother Bernard Oca, FSC, University Provost, Dr. Robert Roleda, Senior Vice President, Mr. Ramon Trajano, our distinguished commencement speaker, Ms. Anbel Tiero, De La Salle brothers, distinguished administrators, esteemed faculty and staff, parents, and Lasallian graduates, a wonderful and pleasant day. Before I begin, I invite you to do a simple breathing exercise. All right, is that okay? Simply breathe in and breathe out. Fellow graduates, we made it. You finally did it. I am sure your friends and family are proud of you. Let us also take this opportunity to extend our deepest gratitude to the people we should be most thankful for in this success that we have achieved. Although I may not know every single one of you, I am certain everyone here has invaluable knowledge and experiences that are meant to be shared and told. Today, I am honored to share a part of me with you, as we will soon let our arrows fly. While writing this speech, I thought of an inspiring person whose life fits the theme of the message that I want to present today. She once told me that nobody is too poor to give. She is not a Nobel laureate, nor a Magsaysay awardee. I am sure none of you in this hall knows about her. Let me tell you the story of Bonifreda Soto, a midwife who has served her community for more than 38 years in Nabua, Camarines Sur. She conquered the odds despite being impoverished And despite the lack of medical facilities in their community and the constant onslaught of typhoons and floods upon their town in 2008, she was awarded the Presidential Dangal ng Bayan Award. From that award, she used her cash incentive to set up 34 barangay pharmacies, which provide inexpensive medicines to the needy. She is an exemplar of selfless service, always ready to stand up and extend a helping hand, even in the most challenging times. I was a first-hand witness to the dynamism and sacrifice of this remarkable woman, because Bonifreda, that is right there, is my grandmother. I'm sure our guardians told us to dream big while we were growing up. But because I was constantly being bullied in grade school, and even in high school for whatever reason, be it for my premature birth, complexion, height, financial status, or the clothes I was wearing, I never had a dream. And my self-doubts undoubtedly grew. What bothered me more was the message I got from one of my teachers. She doubted my capacity to lead, that I was incapable because of my grades. It seemed then that good grades equate to good leadership. Such stigma continues to exist today. High grades are deemed as the primary determinant of our potential for success in life, and low grades would invariably result in failure. While I did not have failing marks in elementary or high school, I did not have exceptional grades either. I was not given an opportunity to become a servant leader. Thankfully, there are roads not taken, and I took the one less traveled by. At a young age, having been inspired by my family members like my grandmother, I volunteered in community work. This has shaped me into the person that I am today. As I reflect today, the doubts of the past, the torments affected from bullying, and the choices I made, all these have created a part of who I am now. That is why standing in front of you today is surreal to me. I reminded myself as I prepared this speech that I did not deserve to be up here. I have failed multiple times, committed mistakes that I truly regret, most especially those times of insensitivity which have hurt people around me. It is no secret that we want to aim high and be achievers. As a liberal arts student, I thought I had achieved everything by speaking at the United Nations, representing the country in ASEAN, and the Filipino youth at the APEC Summit, where I met numerous presidents and prime ministers. In these experiences, I noticed that these feats were commendable. However, as I surveyed the typhoon-prone lands of Nabwa, or the decrepit settlements at the back of our university, I perceived that urgent actions are more needed for these communities, that more expansive community development plans and activities have yet to be attained. I realized that dreaming high was not enough. So I decided to dream deep. Dreaming and working for something bigger, longing for God, serving the country, and venturing deep into the communities, as we know, especially the least, the lost, and the last. Having a heart of volunteerism, the art of selflessness, and a passion in our advocacies are important attributes instilled in us Lasallians to become able servant leaders in our communities and upright citizens for the greater good of this nation. Indeed, when we dream deeply, we embody our Lasallian identity. We can associate these traits with the word Tumindig, a term that means standing up amidst challenges. Allow me to ask you all, how often do we choose to stand up? Gaano nga ba at para saan nga ba tayo kadalas tumindig? Is it only when we are comfortable doing so? Is it only when we feel we are in the space of acceptance? It is common knowledge that to stand up for something is difficult, but when was it ever said that it was easy to begin with? Yes, we face choices every single day, and most of these define our life now. Some choices are simple, what to wear daily or where to eat for lunch. Then there are times we are left with none. One perfect example was when we all transitioned to online classes during the height of the pandemic, which lasted for about 2 years. Yet, tumindig tayo. We stood up, chose to learn despite the restrictive clause of the pandemic, and even advocated our rights and welfare as resilient students. Resiliency, yes, may be a term overused in the Philippines. In this case, we should be proud to call it resilient, as we recall the multiple times we had to adapt to a non-normal environment, juggling numerous responsibilities at home, in virtual classes, or even in our barangay, and being courageous in the face of insurmountable obstacles. It just honestly feels bittersweet as we detoured from the traditional path of a Lasallian journey to undertake a rough pilgrimage of self-discovery, mind exploration, and soul-searching. Still, we should deem this valuable lesson of endurance very well. Fellow graduates, we will not be here today kung hindi tayo tumindig. We are here today because we dared to dream and dared to make that choice. Noong nakaraang eleksyon, tumindig rin tayong mga Lasalyano. We had the glimmer of hope in the past national and local elections, an exercise where most of us were so invested as first-time voters. I saw the reality in the streets, from lobbying for voters' registration in 2021, educating the youth to understand the essence of their vote, and trying endlessly to utilize the voting power of the young people. We campaigned for candidates that we believed were the guardians of good governance. Our hopes were crushed after the election results, and we felt a sense of loss in our nation. Marami sa kasama nating tumindig had a sense of hopelessness and helplessness after the elections, and that's okay. Our life, after all, is not a race, it is a marathon. Before we move forward again, we can rest, reflect, and find our own pace. However, never should we forget to speak out and stand up. If there's one realization we have gained from the past elections, it is that people will stand by you if you continue to fight for what is right and just. The reality is, our choices come at a cost and may lead to misunderstanding and even to a broken heart. Some dreams may not turn out the way we want. Despite the circumstances, let us not lose hope, and may we never be the cause of someone losing hope. Today, we hope to serve as a paragon of valor and inspiration of hope for the present students. Student learning is transitioning to be a challenge-based education where they will solve the problems of an ever-changing, difficult world that requires them to be vulnerable yet resilient while at the same time to dream deeper. To progress, we in the academic community have to redesign the outcome of how we learn and apply the skills we need daily. Let us show what we have learned from our own unique experiences to ensure that future graduates would see the genuine problems at hand and would commit themselves to challenging the status quo. The question I would like you to ponder now is this: titindig pa rin ba tayo sa mga darating na hamon? More importantly, tutugon pa ba tayo kapag hindi na tayo tinatawag? Will we answer if we are not called? Our answers will come from how conscious we are of our vulnerability, how deep we dream, and how we choose to stand up against oppression and fight for our worthy causes. Lasallian graduates of the 194th batch, indeed, the future of a new chapter in our life begins here and now. Protect your courage, patuloy ang pagtindig, animo, Lasal. Thank you and good morning.
Thank you, Mr. Ponon. Mr. Carl Belhagen, President.